should know who I am. Who are you? Can you give me your full legal name? You guys want something out of me? You're gonna give me the same thing, same respect. You know what I mean?
Not really, no. Because
why?
Because it's different for us.
All men are equal under the law. Is that not true?
Whoa. This is assault. This is assault. I do not consent. Whoa! I do not consent. I do not consent. I'm asking him for his supervisor.
No, I don't carry identification. I follow God's law. You know about God? How He gave us this planet in the Bible? Dominion over this planet?
Popping my pussy at the popcorn factory, packaging potassium-filled potatoes. Alright, great. Just a small disclaimer, so you're not wondering what the fuck just happened in a second. Before every video, I'm going to do a list of alternative titles for the video, or for the subject of the video. So, you know, you were warned. I would comply with this traffic stop, except I have a warrant, so I'm gonna need to make this as difficult as possible. I've got weed in my pocket, so the chances of me complying are 0 to none. You think you're taking me to jail? The documents I printed off of a highly reputable flat earth website say otherwise. Did I mention I got weed on me? So, it finally happened. What's that? Don't play dumb with me, you big beautiful piece of shit. You know what I'm talking about. Talking about Black Lives Matter teaming up with the crystal meth tweakers of the country to apparently start their own country within our country. No, I'm not talking about Seattle, and not even talking about what just happened with that crazy shit in Oregon. Hey, I'm talking about straight not giving half a hoot, renouncing your citizenship and becoming a sovereign. But Willy, I don't know what a sovereign citizen is, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Great, glad you asked. Sovereign citizenship is a status, one in which the individual believes themselves exempt to the laws of the United States federal government by rejecting the legitimacy of the United States government and renouncing their citizenship. How does this work? Does this work? 100%. If you're thinking right now, Willy, why did I never think of this? That's a genius. I know, right? That's great. What are you waiting for? Pause this video, get out there and go spread your love of liberty and newfound freedom with the rest of the world. Everyone else, let's move on. Look, I'm just your average everyday cetacean. Not a whale though. Remember the dolphin family. I prefer orca or Gimp dolphin. Racial identity aside, I don't know a whole lot about courtroom mumbo jumbo or legal jargon. Most of that stuff goes right over my head. I'm going to do my best to break down what a sovereign citizen is, maybe while also simplifying things a little for the non-Ivy League types. This movement, known as the sovereign citizen movement, has been around for a while. William P. Gale first coined the term in 1971 as part of the Christian identity movement. According to the bankrupt propaganda machine Wikipedia, the concept has influenced the tax protester movement, the Christian patriot movement, and the redemption movement, the last of which claims that U.S. government actually uses its citizens as a collateral against foreign debts. They reject federal law and all forms of taxation or government registration, and maintain that as non-federal citizens they have no obligation to abide by federal law, traffic policy, or drug policy. They frequently cite documents such as the Articles of Confederation, Black's Law Dictionary, and the Color of Law, sometimes mockingly referred to as road captain, due to at times mentioning maritime law or referencing it during their arguments. They may also refer to their car or vehicle as a vessel or means of conveyance. Sovereign citizens like to make arguments such as,
you don't need to see anything. I'm a traveler, not a driver.
I understand you're not a traveler, but I'm talking to the female driver.
She's a traveler too. She doesn't need any identification.
But I need her license.
You don't. Driver's license is if the state converts a liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage with the right with impunity. Driver's license is a privilege.
Okay, I still need to see the driver's
No,
license.
you don't.
I've observed traffic infractions.
No, you don't. Is there any crime? You just said you took an oath to the Constitution, and yet you're pulling us over, and we don't have a crime. You don't have a corpus delicti. You don't say that we robbed anybody, we didn't kill anybody. So you're out of your jurisdiction, and you're finna lose your job. Yes, you are.
My jurisdiction.
Yes, you are. You took an oath to the Constitution, sir. You're pulling us over without a crime.
No, there's an infraction.
There's not a crime.
I'm not a driver in a car. I was simply using this means of conveyance to travel The distinction comes from Black Law Dictionary's definition of driving to mean the transportation of goods and commerce. Therefore, they believe that as a personal citizen traveling at their own leisure, they are not driving, therefore not required to have a registration, tag, or driver's license. Let's see how this works out for one of them. Ooh, that wasn't great. Probably just a fluke though. One more time. Yeah, great. Not good. Just so you know, fun fact, the FBI ranks sovereign citizens to be a greater danger to society than the Ku Klux Klan or ISIS. However, after reviewing countless interactions of police officers and sovereign citizens, I can't help but feeling that SovCits are a greater danger to themselves than to society, but hey, I guess the FBI disagrees. A really tragic example of this ideology being taken too serious or too far is when 4 years ago, Korryn was fatally wounded during a standoff with police. Korryn was also a sovereign citizen. She had the whole tag thing on her car. She did weirdly have a valid driver's license. However, she refused to register her car, and like I mentioned before, she did have one of the sovereign citizen tags. She was involved in a routine traffic stop some time ago, I believe 5 years ago, during which she refused to comply with officers. There's actually a lot of information about this on YouTube, and a YouTuber named Donut Operator actually did a great breakdown and sort of a profile piece on her. I'll leave a link to that in the description. However, I'm not going to really talk anymore about that particular case because I eventually want to be monetized one day. Anyway, back to sovereign citizens. They're practically living embodiments of the phrase, "It's hard to win an argument against an intelligent person, but damn near impossible to win one against a complete fucking dipshit." There's actually like several different groups in the United States that identify with ideology similar to that of the sovereign citizen movement. And I do say ideology for a reason, because as of November 10th, 2020, the sovereign citizen movement has yet to work in resolving a single traffic stop or to be acknowledged as an acceptable defense for someone in court, despite countless attempts. Therefore, it really makes it a faith or belief-based system and not a recognized status of citizenship. A couple of notable organizations with similar beliefs would be the Moors, the Article 4 Free Inhabitants, and the Truth Seeker movement. Like sovereign citizens, the Moors also don't have a set mission or agenda. They're not collectively working together to achieve some form of goal. And recently, members of the Moorish sovereigns have engaged in violent confrontations with law enforcement. They've also been known to retaliate in other ways through a means called paper terrorism. What the fuck is paper terrorism? You like hold a piece of paper over someone's face like they can't breathe, like paperboarding? Paper terrorism. A process in which they disrupt and harass local court officials by filing countless nonsensical motions in overwhelming frequency. This is intended to jam up the courts and disrupt their normal proceedings. Okay, so not holding a piece of paper over someone's face. Great. More you know. More sovereigns also espouse an interpretation of sovereign doctrine that African Americans constitute an elite class within American society with special rights and privileges that convey them on a sovereign immunity, placing them beyond federal and state authority. Black supremacists. So like, remember when I mentioned that Black Lives Matter and tweakers had teamed up? Moors are like the special Black Lives Matter edition of a sovereign citizen. They're probably my favorite out of all the different sects because while I feel like most sovereign citizens are at least aware that their argument will not be recognized by the law and that when they fail to identify themselves or refuse to comply during a traffic stop, they're in some way viewing their actions as a form of protest. Whereas I feel like the majority of stops that I've seen involving Moors, they seem to be genuinely unaware of the unrecognized and illegitimate status of the sovereign citizen movement. And they really appear to believe they found some kind of loophole within the criminal justice system. And this actually brings us to a good place where we can break and talk about today's sponsor. Are you tired of following laws? Tired of cops telling you what to do? Do you have a gram of weed in your pocket and a suspended license? What if I told you that laws and law enforcement, as well as the entire U.S. government, were all just your imagination? What if I told you that within 5 hours, or however long it would take you to read 5 paragraphs, that the police would no longer have any jurisdiction over your life whatsoever? What if I told you that this isn't just a fantasy, that there are already tens of thousands of people all over the United States who have taken back their lives by renouncing their citizenship and declared themselves sovereign citizens? But be warned, some websites offering documentation of sovereignty are a scam, and it's common knowledge that sites like Wikipedia and anything with the domain .gov are full of disinformation about the Constitution and links to male escorting services, many of which can't be trusted. The only legitimate way to renounce your citizenship is by hitting that red button under this video. So what are you waiting for? Don't read it, stop giving up your booty to road pirates, renounce your citizenship, and say goodbye to that warrant today. Let's hear this one woman's testimonial.
If you want to be a Moorish citizen, he have a right to travel. He ain't got to re-register his car, and it only costs $70. Y'all niggas on here making this YouTube shit talking about you cannot register your car. Here come the tow truck to impound that shit. Talking about you ain't got to register your car. You have a right to travel and all of this crazy shit. And you ain't got to pay bills or do nothing like that. Look, they impounding his shit. Thanks a lot, honey. We can't make it to our daughter's doctor's appointments. You can't go to work. You can't do shit because you trying to be a more citizen. And look, the cops is impounding your shit. So first the car, next thing it'll be the house, and your credit score drop. Thanks a lot, more citizens. You fucked up my life.
Due in large part to everyone having a video recording device on them at all times in the form of cell phones and police having body cameras, we've been able to witness this phenomenon take place with our own eyes on highways, roadsides, and various interstates all throughout America. Also, time and time again, without exception, to the same result. What's that? Oh, arrest and forceful removal from their conveyance vessels. For some reason, police officers everywhere have still refused to acknowledge these interpretations of the law, instead making the wildly controversial decision to keep enforcing the actual law. It should go as no surprise to anyone that this gang of armed thugs and highwaymen continue to pay utter disregard to the paradoxical fantasy law interpretation of non-citizen nomadic travelers everywhere, despite law enforcement taking major actions in order to prevent the American public from seeing the truth and becoming woke intellectual community leaders like Sean King. The movement is fortunately still growing, and new people are denouncing their citizenship in favor of sovereignty, abandoning their social security numbers in favor of traffic citations and taser wounds, doing their part to fight for what's right. While the road ahead might seem long and the outcome still unclear, it's going to take more than some dirty pirates or rough seas to make these interstate admirals abandon ship. And regardless of whether or not this is ever actually successful in resolving a traffic stop for you, or is ever one day accepted as a valid argument in court, I beg you, please, sovereign citizens, never stop trying.